welcome back to the Matt Borka Show. Today, I want to talk about Luckin Coffee and how they're trying to enter the US market and some of the things that some of these news outlets totally forgot to mention. So, I'm going to react to two videos today. One of them is a short from CNN, and the other one is a longer video from MSNBC. And I'm going to talk about the strategy of Luckin Coffee and sort of what they're trying to do and how the US media has tried to portray them so far. And I think they haven't really done a good job at giving people the full picture. So yeah, here we go. I'm going to start the first video, and then as usual, I'm going to pause and comment on a couple of things as we're going along. Okay, here we go.
America's latest coffee chain isn't from America.
It's from where I live. Luckin Coffee is from China.
Luckin just opened its first two locations right here in New York City. They are huge in China.
Here in China, Luckin overtook Starbucks back in 2019. Right now, it has about 22,000 stores across the country. You can understand why it has its eye on the U.S.
How'd you hear about Luckin?
I actually heard about it from TikTok. Apparently, it's China's #1 coffee chain, so we really wanted to try it. It's actually really good.
Here in China, Luckin is known for its cheap prices. This is a specialty latte with oat milk. It only costs about $1.25 US dollars. Do you think they'll be successful in the United States?
If they are cheaper, as they are in China now, I think they will. Coffee is coffee.
All right, we got some cold brews here. Ice drinks start at about $4.50 and go up from there. Luckin isn't the only Chinese beverage company to come to the US.
So something that I want to mention here, they haven't really done a good job at explaining the prices. Prior to recording, I actually went ahead and did some research because, the guy was saying, well, Luckin Coffee starts at 1.25 in China, right? And then they were talking about some of the ice drinks, but then they cut to that guy saying, well, if it's going to be as cheap as in China, I mean, Luckin Coffee, then they're going to be popular in the US as well. Now, based on my research, they're not going to be that cheap, okay? So I'm going to take a look at some of my notes here. So essentially what will happen is I'm just looking at the price comparison. Okay, so I'm looking at the prices here right now. Luckin Drip Coffee, $3.45 versus Starbucks, $3.65. Luckin Ice Latte, $5.75 versus Starbucks, $5.95. Luckin Cold Brew, $4.95, Starbucks, $4.75, $5.15. And then Americano, between $5 and $7 for Luckin, and then Starbucks $4.75, $5.45. Now, based on what I'm seeing here, it's not going to be cheaper. Actually, it's going to be almost the exact same. But they're saying, well, it's cheap coffee. Not in the US, so don't be fooled by that, okay? And again, based on my research, in China, okay, pricing is approximately 30% below Starbucks, but in China. Okay. Whereas in the US, what they're trying to do is they will try to save money. So essentially, we're looking at a 30%. They're looking to save like 30% on operational cost. But what they save is not going to be passed on to the consumer. They will keep that for themselves, and essentially they will do like mobile first ordering, smaller storefronts, and also they're trying to be more efficient in terms of the supply chain. So the cost, so it's not going to be, you're never going to be able to buy like a $1, $2 coffee from Luckin in the US. Like there's no way. So the prices are going to be very similar to what you see at a Starbucks, right? Maybe it's going to be more efficient. Now, in the video coming up, they do talk about maybe they're going to do like discounting to make sure that people keep coming back, and that's going to be a thing. But don't be fooled; it's not going to be cheaper. Let's go back to the video.
Tea, a really popular tea brand in China, has been here in the United States since 2023.
Tea is very popular among young people here in China. It's very sweet, but there's also a fresh taste to it.
The Chinese-owned company Pop Mart did $1.8 billion in sales last year, and about 23% of that came from outside of China, primarily because of these guys.
Labubu unboxing.
Even before the
So this video is about Chinese brands going to the US in general, right? So we're looking at kind of it's not only about Luckin Coffee, but I thought it'd be worth playing the whole video because like what we see in general is that there's a lot of Chinese brands now that are making their perhaps first move in the US, and it's really working out, whether we're talking about Pop Mart or Luckin Coffee. And it's going to happen more and more, I think, because ultimately what is happening is a lot of these bigger US brands have been complacent and they're not really innovating. They're not making moves. Things are kind of staying the same, right? Like whether we're talking about Apple or any other big brand, right? Like they're trying to keep sales consistent. They're not really introducing new products, right? And ultimately, what this will cause is that there's going to be more and more foreign businesses entering the US market. The US market is starving for something new and something different. And quite frankly, what will ultimately happen is that there's going to be a flip, and you are going to see a lot of foreign brands that are innovating heavily. And I mean, at least to me, it seems like some of these US brands are heavily lagging behind.
Labubu craze, Pop Mart was popular here in China. This is its theme park in Beijing. While there's a lot of hype about some of these Chinese brands coming to the US, here in China, American brands like McDonald's have been part of life here for years.
Chinese companies are moving to the United States at the same time that we're in a trade war with China, but US consumers don't seem to care. They just want a good cup of coffee or their chance to get their hands on the ever elusive Labubu.
So essentially, what we're looking at here is that, there's something called capitalism, and what it ultimately does, new people enter the market. They're going to introduce their products, and then if it's going to work out, they're going to make money, right? But what I've been seeing in the past couple of years, a lot of these bigger brands have been suppressing other brands, specifically smaller US businesses, right? They have monopolistic tendencies, and some of these have been discussed in court multiple times. I could go on and on and on about how Meta has a monopoly, not necessarily in terms of their social media market, but more so on the ad side. But essentially, what we're looking at is these companies, these big US firms, have been suppressing the smaller companies. But what they're not realizing is they're actually giving way to foreign companies. And then, in a free market, we could say, well, that's not a bad thing. But ultimately, I think this is hurting smaller US businesses because, sure, the bigger Chinese counterparts will have the capital and the resources to enter the market. And essentially, what this will cause is that there's going to be more foreign brands going to the US, going in, entering the market, soaking up market share, and then ultimately there's going to be more bigger firms on the market, right, competing for their market share, and then ultimately smaller businesses are going to suffer because they're not subsidized, they're not given the necessary support needed in order to grow, and potentially some of these startups to get to that point where they can start making bigger moves and start growing, like at some point Apple did and Microsoft did and all those other companies did. So yeah, that's basically my take on that. And then let's watch the other video as well. Here we go.
Starbucks, the once unrivaled global coffee shop king,
Thank you. Have a good one.
now facing some tough competition from Luckin, a nimble Chinese startup breaking into the U.S. market this summer with its first 2 stores in New York City. Founded by Chinese tech entrepreneurs in 2017, Luckin lures in customers with cheap, often colorful drinks and coupons galore.
So every time you order a coffee, you get another promo for like 40-50% off. So it makes you want to keep coming back. So I've been coming, this is my second day in a row.
Another key part of the Luckin experience, an ultra-efficient mobile ordering system.
I like the convenience of just being able to put in an order and pick it up right away.
The new Luckin stores coming online just as Starbucks finishes out another tough quarter. The company hiring CEO Brian Nickel away.
So again, this is not like for, the ordering system is not really for the customer's benefit, right? Because Luckin is not really coming in with the cheaper prices. Yes, it's cheaper in China and it's part of the strategy there, but not in the US. So ultimately, whether you have a pickup store or not, it doesn't really matter because the price is going to be the same, right? So ultimately what they're doing, they're trying to come across as cheaper, but in reality, they're not cheaper. They're cheaper with the discounts, but then, it's only really a matter of time until they start pulling the discounts back, because once you're a repeat customer, obviously maybe the discounts are not going to be needed. And since these stores don't really have high profit margins, we're talking about like a 45% margin, right? So they don't have a lot of wiggle room. So they might take the loss up front in order to ensure that they acquire the customers. And once they have the customers, in my opinion, they're going to get rid of the discounting system and the heavy discounts. This is only part of the kind of like the launch strategy. So I wouldn't count on those discounts like forever.
Away from Chipotle last September to help turn around slumping sales. But just this week, saying they will close all their pickup-only stores, which operate on a similar mobile-centric concept to Luckin. Starbucks also posting lower than expected earnings. While Luckin focuses on a cashierless experience, Starbucks CEO saying the company found the pickup-only stores to be, quote, overly transactional and lacking the warmth and human connection that defines our brand.
Right. So here's the thing, right? I don't know when was the last time you went to a Starbucks, but like in my experience, like a lot of times what you'll see is like the stores are not that clean, right? I think the coffee is extremely overpriced. And I wouldn't really count myself as a coffee connoisseur, but essentially what happens is that, they use very low quality beans. And I think that's widely known. But not only that, they've been charging more and more and more and more and more for coffee. And part of that is sure labor costs, sure, and things are getting more expensive. But then, like how long do you want to pay $5 to $6 for a cup of coffee? Like that's so freaking expensive. Like think about it. If Luckin can charge $1.25 in China, there's a reason for that, right? Maybe it's they don't have that much overhead, and maybe they have better profit margins there. Who knows? But the fact that they can get away with $1.25, ultimately, as one of the guys said in the other video, coffee is coffee, right? So what the extra you're paying for your coffee is not the actual coffee, but all the other things that come on top of the coffee, right? So because of that, that's why you're paying more, right? And this stuff about, oh, it's too transactional. Sure, it really depends, right? Like sometimes I like going to a Starbucks to read or do some research, right? Definitely, but I think stores, like the environment's quality has significantly decreased over the years. I think things are dirtier. Like the last time I was at a Starbucks, like there was like a homeless guy, and he was kind of like sitting in the corner, and then I tried to use the bathroom, and he was doing something in the bathroom, and then I was trying to use the bathroom, and then he was still in there, and I'm like, okay, so what's going to happen? Am I going to get shot? I'm going to get stabbed, right? Like I don't know. Like it wasn't necessarily what are the guys? What are they saying? A warm and human experience, or like I didn't feel like any connection with that guy, right? So essentially, yeah, like it's becoming a place where a bunch of homeless people like camp and stuff. Again, it really depends on the store, I have to admit, for sure. But yeah, like you want to pay $5 to $6 for being harassed and stuff like that, like, I can stay at home and, like, I can order uh, from, like, I don't know, like Uber Eats or something, and then like it's taken care of type thing. So actually, like, this is all BS, right? They need to do a better job at security. They need to do a better job at keeping the stores clean, right? And they need to find ways to lower prices, I think, because ultimately there's only you can only get away with charging like $5 to $6 for coffee for so long, right? Um, so yeah, definitely, like of course they're in trouble.
Their same-store sales declined 2% globally year over year this in its latest quarter. Luckin's actually saw a 13.4% year-over-year increase in same-store sales. So you can see that in terms of growth, Luckin has it, Starbucks doesn't.
Luckin's prices also making waves.
It's great coffee at a great price point.
It's good. It's very affordable, quick.
It's really cheaper than, compared to the other coffee shop.
Back in China, those price points helping Luckin gain traction. Starbucks was largely credited with popularizing U.S. coffeehouse culture over the last 2 decades, opening 7,700 stores in China. But Luckin rapidly overtaking Starbucks in just the last 8 years there, hitting 10,000 stores in China in 2023. That growth fueled by investors that have included the country's partially state-owned China International Capital Corp and U.S. private equity fund BlackRock. Now it's NYC stores already making a splash on the city's coffee scene. And Tom, something I found interesting about these 2 Luckin stores here in New York City, they're not labeled stores 1 and 2. They're labeled stores 00001 and 00002. Just maybe a glimpse at the future they're planning for expansion in the United States.
Yeah. So again, I do feel that there's some irony here, right? Because both videos were saying, well, this ordering system is really good. Yeah, it's for their benefit. Like, sure, customers are going to benefit from it as well, but the cost is not being passed on to you. You're still going to pay what you pay at Starbucks. It's only going to be another option, right? So I wouldn't necessarily feel that excited personally, because at the end of the day, like, this is only a marketing stunt, to be honest. Nothing more. If you don't come in with cheaper prices, I think the conversation kind of ends there, right? And that's not what they're planning to do. So we'll see what happens, right? Like, this is only my opinion. I could be wrong, and maybe they're going to do like really well because people are fed up with Starbucks in general. And then if Luckin is going to find a way to keep their prices low, like other ways, maybe they're going to succeed and they'll be able to expand, but who knows? Anyways, thank you so much for watching. Please like and comment on this video. It would really help me out. It would help the algorithm as well, because that way people are going to know that this video is worth watching. And also, please subscribe to this channel. I try to post as often as I can, and I shall see you soon.